what you're actually doing with due date quoting is you're taking into account the variability and you're being predictable, which people don't think you can be predictable with variability, but you're being predictable about when you're going to deliver because you're looking at the status of the system. I think it's brilliant. That's actually a wonderful lesson for anybody to take in. So when you went through this, did you just make the decision, we're going to do this, and you just went and told everybody? I mean, because there's a lot of, the whole political consideration with an organization and the dynamics you have to work through with different personalities. Talk a little bit about how that transpired.
Of course. So the first area that we looked at was really customer service leadership because they are the most impacted by any kind of due date quoting or lead time and got them on board. At first, there was a lot of concern, but then once they saw the system, they were very excited about it. And then sales was a little bit harder to bring on and actually declined it at first. And then what we did was we did kind of a secret pilot on 2 or 3 items. Then we presented it to the executive team and said, we've been actually using this on these 3 items, and here's been the benefit, right? We were able to shrink that, I call it cycle time, right, between order, receipt, and shipment, shrink our cycle time. We're able to increase our OTIF, and the gap between the requested delivery date and when we actually committed to it was very small for our large customers. And so once they saw that, they were much more on board to roll this out. And it is division by division. So a couple of the divisions were using it, and still one of our divisions is still using that lead time. They have not yet converted to due date quoting.
Yeah, well, you have different levels of adaptation. It's kind of a change management curve, right? So, where do you see variability showing up most in your system? Is it in production or demand or supplier?
I would say demand first, and then probably suppliers. So demand first is us looking at a long-term forecast in the personal care environment where, everyone wants the new thing and we can't sell the fall color in the summer. So definitely demand. We call it a product category 3 level. So we don't get it at the SKU level. We kind of get it as like, here's the shampoo forecast and here's this forecast. So that's the demand variability that we are faced with. And it's very hard to determine what's going to take off in the market from a personal care perspective. There's been some products that we've looked at it and said, oh, I don't know if that'll go anywhere. It turns out it's the next greatest thing. So that's definitely where the variability is. Suppliers, because there is so much variability in the products that we're making, we have a lot more suppliers. If you get like out of the cleaning and food division where 80% of what you're running is the same size can, you had less suppliers and less variability. So definitely demand for us, then supplier, and then production. Once it hits our lines, we have outstanding production facilities, and it generally goes very smoothly.
So, in your role, do you also oversee production or is that a separate?
Yes.
You do. Okay. So, you have the whole supply chain. Oh, that's awesome.
Mhm. It is. It is.